Hey guys, how you all doing? Bioniclesaurus here, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at the CollectA Juvenile Tyrannosaurus. So, as you can tell, we are taking a slight break from the News for Limited models. I promise I will get back to that. Of course, the only review I have out for one of those is the Plesiosaurus, but I will get back and eventually do all four of them, because two of them I have in my possession right now, besides the Plesiosaurus, and the other two are on the way from Dan's Dinosaurs. So this figure is the counterpart to the 2015 Deluxe Tyrannosaurus Rex from CollectA, which has been previously reviewed on my channel. Go ahead and check that out if you want. And yeah, so let's get straight into overall appearance. I'm pretty excited to talk about this model because it's actually really good, and I sometimes enjoy kind of stepping back and looking at models that came out a year or two ago that I kind of missed when they were actually new. So let's get started. So, getting into the overall look of this figure, the overall look is pretty good to me. Let's start with colors. First of all, I love the inclusion of far more turquoise on this figure than its adult counterpart. The adult really only has it here, up on the neck and the shoulders and a little bit onto the back, whereas this figure also has it all over, like, most of the tail, basically. As you can see, both sides, all around, pretty much more than half of the tail, and even a little bit onto the back legs. And so that's really cool to see, because that was one of my favorite colors. I think red is a pretty typical color to see on, like, colorful feathers and stuff, but turquoise is a little more unique, so I love seeing more of that. The base is pretty nice. It's pretty well sculpted, and it's a good thing that it is there, because I do not think this figure could stand without it. Its legs are very spindly, and that brings me to the next thing to talk about, and that is kind of the proportions and the pose. This figure overall comes across as really gracile and, as well as gracile, very graceful. It's a very agile-looking animal. I can just imagine it quickly darting through the trees of Hell Creek 66 million years ago. And so they've certainly succeeded in making it look very lifelike and just very active, which is really awesome to see. Obviously, it is non-tripodal, which is great. Overall, this figure is just very eye-catching. So, for overall appearance, I'm going to give this figure an A+. There is basically nothing to complain about. It just looks really good right off the bat. Now let's get into detail. So, I'm deeply sorry to all of you, but unfortunately, to zoom in any further and remain in focus would actually probably require an extension tube or a macro lens, neither of which I have. Nor would I bother to get for one dinosaur toy. But seriously, that brings me into one of my first points about the detail of this figure, and that is, okay, a couple reviews ago, when I was talking about the CollectA Utahraptor, I complimented it on the fact that it was incredibly well detailed for its size. Well, this figure takes that to a whole new level. Just look at it. I can just... There, it's gone. It's just hidden in my hand. I mean, this thing is just... It's minuscule. It's hilariously small. I mean, I knew this thing was going to be tiny, but, like, I had no idea it was just going to be this. It's so cute. Anyway, oh my gosh, I think this thing's like 2.5 inches long, maybe. Maybe a little more than that. I'm really not sure. It's just absolutely tiny. And yet, for its size, I think it's even better detailed than the Utahraptor. Look at this. It actually has individually painted teeth, which on both sides are just really well done. That's incredible at this tiny scale. All the feathering detail is even better done than on the Utahraptor. There's no slip-ups in the paintwork. The eyes are glossy and very genuine and wet-looking. God, that sounds like something Jurassic Collectibles would say. He's always talking about the genuine, wet-looking, realistic eyes. Anyway, the little fingers and toenails are painted black with pretty much no flaws. One paint application issue I found, by the way, if you're wondering what these little scuffs are from, I got this guy from Amazon. Sometimes they can be a little bit damaged in shipping when you get them from larger retailing sites like that. Anyway, the base is really well sculpted. However, and I was just getting to this, the feet are the same color as it, and I've noticed this on a lot of figures. Based off of a few individuals I have seen of this figure and the stock photo, its feet are supposed to be gray, which makes perfect sense because these parts that are technically part of the foot are gray, but instead they're the same tan color as the base. I don't know if that's just a paint application problem. I mean, I can't think of anything else. It's a bit weird. Just the fact that apparently, I don't know, maybe it's difficult to somehow paint this without painting the base gray, but like they painted these tiny little eyes and stuff just fine. The base itself is sculpted really well, a lot better I think than the adult's base, because it actually has like little cracks in it, like it's dried mud or something. Little leaves are sculpted in it, although they aren't painted. That'd be kind of cool if they were. So anyway, overall, despite that one odd paint application problem, the detail on this model, especially for the size, is just gobsmackingly good. This thing's so tiny, and yet like individual teeth and perfectly painted eyes and like all this sculpted in detail and texture. It's really quite incredible. So for detail, I give this figure an A. It's certainly not incredible, you know, I mean obviously it's nothing near Rebor or Papo, but like, it's so tiny. I'm sorry, you just have to respect how well detailed this figure is for how small it is. I know I talked about this with the Utah Raptor, but this figure really brings that concept to a whole new level. I mean, just look how mini it is and just how detailed it is. Oh, I love it. They've really done a great job on this one. Now let's talk about accuracy. Well, another T-Rex with feathers, and this was 2014, so they even got it a year earlier. Of course, Safari Limited has a juvenile T-Rex from the 90s, I believe, that actually has feathers, or maybe it was from the early aughts. But nonetheless, they've feathered this one a lot better than that. They've given it a full coat. It goes down all the way down to just this joint in the triple bent legs, which is quite... That's actually even more feathering than the adult had, I believe. It even goes, again, more than the adult, a little bit onto the face, which is pretty awesome. Overall, this thing is just, the feathering is great, with the exception of the fact that there are no arm feathers, or no somewhat advanced arm feathers anyway. The arms have some little shaggy, kind of shrink-wrapped feathers like the rest of the body, but on the adult, they actually have some display feathers on there, which are absent on this figure. So that's a little disappointing. I'd love to see some little wings or something, that'd be pretty cool, but oh well. In 2014, what we got for this is still more than what you would expect from many companies. So, let's see, the proportions. I've heard one person complain that the legs are misproportioned. I would say that the third segment of the triple bent legs, which, like I said earlier, is, I believe, technically the foot, it's a little bit too long. However, this incredibly gracile, almost scrawny, spindly look is actually not inaccurate. A young Tyrannosaur would have a really thin, gracile-looking skull and really thin, almost scraggly-looking little limbs and a long, thin, skinny tail. This is how they were proportioned, and so it's great to see this rather than just some bulky, just miniature version of an adult being called a baby like so many companies do. Papo! Safari Limited Dino Discoveries. Anyway, boy, haven't made that joke in a while. So yes, I think they've done a really good job in capturing the differences between babies and adults, besides just... but did I just say besides? Besides just the size. Anyway, I can do English real well. I also heard one person say that the tail is too short. If anything, like I mentioned in its review, the adult has too long of a tail. I think they proportioned this one a lot better. I haven't counted the teeth, but I believe they should be somewhere around, what, like 17 for a juvenile like this? And then like something like 12 in the upper jaw of an adult? I don't know, I haven't counted either. I should totally do that, but At any rate, overall, while it does have some minor issues, oh, by the way, no pronated hands. They're kind of half pronated. It's a little weird, but they aren't technically bunny rabbit hands, so we're good. But yes, overall, I think the accuracy is really good, and so my overall rating for it is going to be an A-. It's not perfect, like I said, there's flaws, but overall, I think they've done a good job. So, my overall rating for this figure is an A. The detail is just absolutely stunning. At this size, it's really impressive what they were able to do successfully. The accuracy, while it's not perfect, is for the most part very good. And I just really like this little thing. It's cute, it's fun, it's small, it's just a great figure by CollectA. Thanks for watching, and Bioniclesaurus signing out.